Yo, what's up, guys? And since the actual NHL season is starting tomorrow, I thought I would do a season simulation and see who wins the Stanley Cup as predicted by EA Sports in this. So, because EA Sports is actually releasing their predictions today as well, so I thought I'd do one. Last time I did a prediction, simulation kind of video was during the playoffs, I think it was, and I got a lot of views on it, so I'm hoping this one does good as well. So we're gonna turn trades off just so it just stays with the normal roster so far, because I don't know if there's gonna be any moves or what moves are gonna happen actually at the 2018 trade deadline. So we're gonna turn that off. And here's all our teams. Who do we want to follow? Let's just follow my Ottawa Senators since, I think that's all I'm gonna follow. Just my Sens. And we are going to go to quick settings quickly, just make it more realistic. We're going to set it to superstar. Trade difficulty doesn't matter because we're not making trades in this. Standard. 20-minute period length, just to make it more realistic as well with the simulation. And we'll put it to full sim because this is going to be full simulation. I'm not going to be playing anything. And advanced settings. That looks good. I just need to turn off the injuries because I'm gonna not put injuries on because it's gonna be too much to having to keep on editing the lines. Like, I might actually turn on CPU injuries, maybe not. No, actually I'm just gonna put none. Just do it like stuff for GM mode pretty much. So okay, so that's good. Let's go start it up, and then we're just gonna pretty much just jump ahead till the end of the season, and I'm going to go through all the player stats and all that stuff. End of the regular season, then we're going to look at the playoff tree. If we can look at the playoff tree, we might not be able to look at the playoff tree if we miss the playoffs. I should have probably selected every single team, but whatever. Okay, so I guess we could start the simulation up. So let's go all the way up to April 8th. So I'm going to sim all the way till the end of the regular season, and I'll see you guys in a sec with the final standings. Okay, guys, so we're up here at the end of the regular season. Unfortunately, the Sens didn't make the playoffs. They were 37, 36, and 9, not even above 500 with all those extra time losses. So let's go to the final standings. So the final standings for the regular season, and then we'll get into points for the team, the entire league. So, according to this, the Chicago Blackhawks are going to win the President's Trophy. They went 54, 18, and 10. Interesting. Then you got also Edmonton, Washington, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Vegas making the playoffs. I don't know what EA is smoking here, but whatever. Columbus making the playoffs, St. Louis making the playoffs, and Rangers. I agree with a lot of these teams except for obviously Detroit, Vegas, Vancouver definitely shouldn't be in there. Same with the Islanders. So there's like 4 teams that shouldn't be in the playoffs that are. Pittsburgh just barely making the playoffs. I don't know about that. It's kind of interesting. Let's just go by Eastern and Western Conference. So basically Pittsburgh, the Islanders, all the way up to Washington made it. And then Carolina, Buffalo, Ottawa, Toronto, Florida, Philadelphia, Boston, and New Jersey did not make it. So it's pretty realistic for the most part on who would, except for the Islanders could swap out with like the Sens or the Leafs, maybe. Something like that. Then in the West, Chicago to Vancouver, there was how many teams? 2 teams at least I don't think would make it, so Vegas and Vancouver. Swap those out maybe with somebody like Nashville for sure. And Dallas shouldn't be that low of a team considering they made some big moves during the offseason. I think Dallas is the team actually that would win the Stanley Cup. Like, it would be like a Dallas-Tampa Stanley Cup Finals in real life, but you never know. So now let's take a look at the player stats throughout the entire league. So let's go to entire leagues. So Alexander Ovechkin had 109 points. I don't think he's going to have that much. Don't know why the simulation's so crazy. He led the league in points and goals. 64 goals for Ovi. I don't think that's going to happen. John Tavares even also broke 50 goals. in the season. Assist leader in the league was Nick Backstrom, setting up Ovi all the time probably, and Vadim Shipachyov up there as well. This doesn't look like a good realistic simulation, but whatever. Leader in plus minus during the season, Brent Burns was a plus 39. Penalty minute leader doesn't really matter. We can check all this stuff. Mark Borowiecki, 154. Power play goals, Malkin with 18. Power play points, looks like Malkin as well. Nope, Crosby, 34 points. Shorthanded goals, Chris Tierney and Tyler Johnson and Chris Kunitz all with 3. 2 of those players play for Tampa. Interesting. Shorthanded points, Melker Karlsson with 7 shorthanded points. Game-winning goals, Ovechkin with 14. Best shooting percentage for the most points, probably maybe Marchessault. Yeah, it's definitely Marchessault. 82 points in 82 games. 20.9 shooting percentage. Wow. Okay, so all that. Let's just go back to points and then we'll sort by defensemen so we can see who would potentially win the Norris this year. I think Karlsson probably, right? No, Brent Burns. 89 points for Brent Burns this year. 31 goals, 58 assists. Karlsson right behind him, and then it drops off a lot with Hamilton with 66 points and so on. So Karlsson and Burns are the top 2 contenders for this year's Norris, I guess. I don't know where Victor Hedman is, because Hedman's been talked about. 53 points, only 3 goals. I think he has a better... Well, he might have a similar season, but he will score more than 3 goals, I could tell you that. Okay, so now let's sim the playoffs and see who comes out on top. Actually, we could check the playoff tree first, too. Okay guys, so here is the playoff tree for the 2017-18 season according to EA. So we got the Minnesota Wild and the St. Louis Blues, the Chicago Blackhawks and the Vancouver Canucks, Vegas and San Jose, Edmonton and Anaheim, and then in the East you got Columbus and Rangers, Pittsburgh and Washington, which is always good, Montreal and Detroit, and the Islanders in Tampa Bay. So let's sim all the way up to June the 1st and see who comes out on top, and then we'll look at the playoff tree to see how each team got there and the final awards, and then I'll wrap up this video. So let's go to June 1st. I think that should be good enough for time wise. Okay. So who do you guys think is going to win the Stanley Cup? Let me know down below in the comments. I think it's either Dallas or Tampa Bay this year. Just because Dallas made some great acquisitions in Tampa Bay. I think Kucherov, if Stamkos stays healthy, Tampa Bay could go far this year. So that's my prediction. And so the Stanley Cup champions, they're saying, is the Montreal Canadiens, which I do not like that, winning their 25th Stanley Cup. So okay, so let's take a look at the awards. If I could check the awards, can I check the awards? I don't think so. Maybe I can. Oh yeah, I can. So let's just check the playoff trees. So how did Montreal even get there? So Montreal took out Detroit in 6 games, advanced to facing the Islanders, which they swept them. Then they beat the Rangers in 6, and they had to face the Anaheim Ducks in the Stanley Cup Finals, which they won in 5. So it's kind of a realistic Stanley Cup Finals, because I think a few years ago people said Montreal and Anaheim in the finals. So that might happen. You never know if Anaheim could actually get past the conference finals this year. Apparently they beat Chicago in the conference finals in 7 games. So, and apparently Vegas gets to the second round. Let's just pretend that's Nashville instead of Vegas, because that's not realistic that they're just going to make the playoffs like that. So Stanley Cup, Montreal, President's Trophy, Chicago, Anaheim and Montreal in the finals. Player awards, Ovechkin with the Ross and the Hart. James Norris goes to Brent Burns for back-to-back seasons. Backstrom gets to Bing. The Rookie of the Year is Colin White. Okay. Carey Price gets to Conn Smythe in the playoffs. Vezina goes to Vasilevsky. And the William Jennings also goes to Vasilevsky. Alexiak gets the Masterton. Stahl gets the Selke. Ovechkin gets the Lindsay and the Richard. So Ovechkin cleans up on awards pretty much this year. And the Montreal Canadiens are the Stanley Cup champions.